Hello everyone, welcome to the first day for our advanced Selenium training. You can also call it as day 8 after the 7 hours free training that we did earlier. And you can find that on itlearn.com/selenium. We've kind of tried to make things easier for our audience and keep things in there so it's easy for you to access the content. So this is the training that we did last month, and we completed it early June. We said 5 days, 5 hours, but it had to be 7 days at the end. So a lot of topics have been covered here, and this is a continuation of that. All right, so let's look at what has been done so far, and then we'll look at what are the prerequisites going forward. Then we will look at what is coming in the next few classes. All right. All right, here we go. So what has been done so far, team? What did we do in these 7 hours of training? We spoke about manual and why we need to go towards automation. Yes, everyone, whoever attended. Now, in fact, I'm going to run a poll as to how many of you attended that and how many of you did not. So guide with me. Let's work together on this. Let's ensure that we address everything correctly, team. Okay. Second, what are the basics or fundamentals when we talk about automation in general and very specifically with software testing? Automation is not a word that has been coined for software testing. It has been coined in general in life. Even early human evolution days, when the fire was invented, when a wheel was invented, that's the early automation team, which primarily tries to make our human life easier. So automation has been there since then. And team, extremely sorry for my voice. I've been constantly sick, in and out. I did pretty well for a month, but then about 4 days back, it was very crazy viral fever that I went through. Still suffering, but this was important. So I hope it's okay with you all. You can hear me. So this is the loudest that I'm able to speak. All right. Then we spoke about a tool called Selenium and why there is a IDE built and what it does. Right? We spoke about IDE, record of test and execution / run of test. Now, I'm going to ask a question and I want everyone to answer in a single answer. Do not give me 3 chat messages. In a single line, answer this. What are the 3 columns that you see in the Selenium IDE tool? XXX /XXX, like this. And team, the beauty of an online webinar is your answers are invisible to others. You are almost interacting directly with me. So I would also love to see who would be there, will say, I do not know, and that is fine. But that is very important for me to know what my audience is. I want the exact way in which it is presenting. And as a training process is very critical, for all of you to follow what I'm saying and try and go in that routine. It could be an absolute stupid question from my side, but then it is extremely critical and you don't remember, that's fine. Now, there are two parts to it. What do we do? One, you can open up Firefox. Then you can launch the Selenium IDE. Look at it and tell me, why not? Right? Because I'm not going to be there with you lifelong. I need to inspire you, teach you, and make you do it. So now I'm opening this thing. It does not matter if you failed in this answer today. But by the time we go through, let these foundation fundamentals be strong. Command, target, value. How can we remember? It's not easy, right? Command, target, value. And believe me, Ron is saying 2 out of 3. That's good. So believe me, it's not the terms or the exact words that is important. It is your understanding of the fundamentals. Now, I ask about 2 W's. Who remember those 2 W's? In every automation, there are 2 W's that we need to give as an instruction to the tool. This is easy, right? Perfect. See? Now, these W's are, what do we need to do? Where do we need to do? That's it. It is as clear as it can be. The only additional thing is, do I need any more info? To do that. So your command becomes the what, your target becomes the where, your value becomes the any more info. Right, everyone? Perfect. The what and the where in automation is the most important thing. That is the foundation. Now, I also would have mentioned 3 words and the abbreviation for it as to the what is the results based on. It's like a deal maker / breaker. If it meets certain criteria, we're going to do it. What do we do it? Automation, or we won't. It's very simple, team. Let's visualize this in our life. And ROI, one thing, return on investment. In automation, we can break it into things. Let's imagine these are 2 sides of a river. Actually, I could have said this river itself, but I kind of used it differently. And there's a land here, and there is land here, right? Now, will it make sense to build a bridge across out here on these 2 lands? Yes or no? Should we build a bridge or not? Tell me, everyone. Yes or no? There are only 2 questions. Yes, build a bridge. No, do not build a bridge. Should we build a bridge? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Team, I don't know how to show you this, but there are about 60, 70 participants of you in this session. And yeah, about 70 plus. And everyone is saying yes. Now, if I tell you that the population of the number of people on this side is 0, and the population on this side is 0, then what will your answer be? No, right? And this is one thing that I'm very proud about myself, very honestly. As humans, we need to know what we're proud of and what we're not, because that will tell us what is the area that we need to improve. I never prepared or thought of this scenario before this session. It's just impromptu, it came in. Unless there is a real need for improving the state of the current situation, there is no point in doing it. It's not fun. It is not just for fun. But if I visualize tomorrow, there are going to be 1,000,000 people on either side. Oh yes, that's how I would do it. All right. Now, automation is the same thing. You're trying to make things easier. In these two islands, or rather uh, masses of land separated by river, the earlier form of communication, let's say, was through a boat. All right. And now they said boat will take too long, there are risks of failure, accidents can happen, and it's not easy for convenient to transport things easily. There's too many waves or the stream. And then we said, if we need to build a bridge, we need efficiency, we need reusability and accuracy. I want to make sure it's much more smoother and faster than using a boat to cross the river. I want to make sure that it is reusable so I can keep using it over and over for a long period of time, and it must be accurate so that if I start at point A, then I reach point B and not point C, because this is the upstream. Oh, sorry, downstream. Making sense, everyone? What I'm trying to communicate. Now, this is what we have primarily dealt in the 7-hour session. Why do we have to do all this? So, we have already made good amount of progress from manual testing to basic automation testing. Now, why are we talking about advanced automation? And will it end there, or is there more to come? Sorry. It will keep evolving. Evolution cannot be stopped. It will keep going. Then, where is the industry? Maybe 20 years back, it was all manual. Slowly, it migrated towards automation, maybe 15 years back. It became very strong on automation, let's say a decade back, 10 years ago. Then it said, just pure automation is not enough. We need some more concepts. They said, let's build frameworks. Now they're saying, let's become more of software development engineers in test. Let's try and bridge the gap further between development and testing. And that journey will keep going. All right. Someone just joined, I guess, and is asking me what is the drawing denotes. I have to erase it right now because, can you go back and watch the video, please? Kind of give an example. E is efficient. And a lot of things will come under efficiency, reusability, accuracy. So you can further classify, but it's easier to remember things. So team, at this point, this is what we've done. And then we said that one of the easiest that's interesting. Can you all hear me now, team? Okay, sorry. I don't know. I think I try to mute myself for a cough and come back. So my question is, team, which among these three attributes, command, target, value, is the easiest for you? And when I say easiest, in general, which is the easiest? All right, let me give an answer. The easiest is value. Why? It just says a number or a name or primarily alpha numeric, right? It is like a username, like a password, like an email address, like the number of items you want to buy, or the amount of money you want to transfer, or to verify a certain text is appearing on the page, and so on. It is easy. Even manual testers can know it. There's not much difference. The third thing comes, second thing will come, is the command. Because command is basically saying, like in English, open browser, type something, or click on something, just like our English. So if we know our English decently well, this is not a rocket science. Also for the additional reason, because the command comes with built-in list of everything that it does. And do note, the commands in Selenium IDE are different from the commands in Selenium-Webdriver. They're not one and the same. Now, what is the toughest thing and most important? How many of you believe, I'm going to do a few polls, team. I'm just kind of getting you all geared up to what we're doing. I'm going to create a quick poll and ask a question. So I'm going to write it. You can all see. Can you all see the poll? So you can try and answer quickly so we don't have to take too long. Do you feel element identification is easy or not? Yes, if it is just ID, name, link, etc. Yes, even XPath. No, I do not know XPath. No. This, you know what, I'm going to cut. So you saw the option and you saw the question. So be ready to click on your screen for a quick answer. I'm going to give exactly 30 seconds, everyone. Okay, saved. Now let's see. Poll. Launch. Not in your chat team. At this time, you should see an option on your screen where you can click and answer. This gives me the audience pulse. Where are you? What are you? How have we done so far? All right, team, I'm going to close the polls in exactly 5 seconds. So kindly answer, kindly complete. All right, closing the polls. We've got about 80% votes. And if you're in the session, be present, team. Not just log in and leave it. Be involved. Invest your time. It will pay back. Okay, poll closed. Results shared. Can you all see the results on the screen? It should also come in the recordings later. This is a pretty glad number, everyone. Very happy to see this. Only 3% of you are saying that I do not know the basics, and 5% of you saying I do not know XPath. And believe me, team, that is fine. Do not feel demotivated about it. I will take you through the journey. Have the confidence, we're going to make it happen. But 53% saying even XPath, I am pleasantly surprised. I feel good as a teacher, as a trainer. It gives me a lot of satisfaction. Thank you so much. 38% of you saying ID name link and so on, pretty good. XPath not yet. Sure, we'll get there. So element identification is key. It is like saying, I want to ride a motorcycle, but I do not know how to ride a bicycle. You cannot ride a motorcycle without knowing how to ride a bicycle. Maybe you start with motorcycle, but if I get you from a motorcycle back to a bicycle, you should be able to do that. Because what is the toughest thing in cycling team when you start as kids? What is the toughest thing? What really happens to us at that time? There's only one most important and critical thing when it comes to cycling. Team be involved. Participate, please, in the question. Exactly. Balancing. That's it. Perfect. Not, oh, I got. Everyone said balancing. There's one, I believe, gentleman who said manual effort. I'm cracking up. The toughest thing in bicycling is manual effort because you need to pedal. You need to automate that. That's why we got to invent engines and motors. Good answer. But balancing, right? And we conquer that. We feel very glad. That's what it is. So this is all about. Now, I'm going to ask another question. Let me look at the poll quickly and see how many of you have. So 2-3 more poll questions, team. We'll get to the sessions quickly and go from there. All right, team. We've got a lot of votes in. I'm going to close this and move on. So are you working currently in manual testing, which also means automation team? It's at least manual testing. 68% of you are yes, 14% of you are no, 19% are saying no, but I'm already trained. That's good team. Now, that's what the results are. I'm going to quickly share them with you. And the last poll before we move on. Okay. And here you go. I'm going to hide this result. All right, Smita, got your response. No problem. It's more to collect statistics from a larger audience. Okay, last poll team before we get going. All right, I'm going to launch the last poll. Very critical for me to know, please, before I get going. Thank you for participating, everyone. Thank you for being part of it. All right, team, 5 more seconds, please. It's a very simple question. Have you been through the free Selenium training that I conducted a few weeks back? It's yes live, yes videos, no not yet. Only 3 options. I'm not giving a 4th option saying no never. Because I believe if it's an interesting area, you will spend time and effort and do it. All right, I'm going to close this poll and share the result. So 43% yes live. Thank you so much for coming back. 30% yes videos. I'm sure if once we put this poll in the YouTube link or so, we'll get more responses there. 27% not yet. Welcome. I'll guide you through it. So team, very important for each of you to ensure that you go through the Selenium training and make sure you watch the videos at least. That's the first prerequisite. It's the 7-hour tutorials. All right. Second is some basic core Java. Now, I will not ask this question because I believe strongly most of you will say that programming side is still weak. That is fine. That is what we will build. Even if not, we will build over it. Okay. What else do I expect? I think that's about it. I do not expect anything else. Do you believe you need to have some other additional skill? I think this is what it is. Like I said, right team, I do not come prepared with a presentation or a PowerPoint. I keep it interesting this way. It's more realistic. Anything else the audience believes that I have to add here? What are the prerequisites? It is better to learn code Java, yes, on the side, because it will give you a little better confidence. Manual testing basics. Yes, Manju, it's part of this 7 hours free training. Some amount of manual testing. Willingness to learn, absolutely yes. I think HTML is a good point. Thank you, Archana. HTML basic will help. And for this, we have 2 options. I did some videos through IT Learn. We can give you access. Or just go to w3schools.com. You'll find it there. Eclipse and all the related installations are covered in the free training. So we have done a lot of that. What all did we cover? We covered all of this. Then we spoke about Selenium IDE to WebDriver migration. We did about Eclipse, WebDriver, Selenium, Java runtime environment, Selenium driver, browser driver, and so on. We did run the first test from Eclipse using Selenium WebDriver. Some basics of WebDriver we covered. We also learned JUnit basic fundamentals. Yes, team, did we do this? Right? JavaScript, ignore it, team. I don't think it is so necessary. Unless you want to stick with only Selenium IDE. Excellent. So that's where we are. This is what I expect as a prerequisite. And we're going to continue from here. Now I have one question, team. Just yes or no. I'll not run a poll. Before this, does Karthik use Selenium for a purpose other than test automation, projects, and training? Can you answer this yes or no? Do I use the tool Selenium or anything else? And I'll tell you a story, team. It'll be very inspirational. I believe it will motivate you as well. Just say yes or no, everyone. Would love to hear. To a Selenium, be it IDE, be it WebDriver, be it framework, be it anything. All right. Anyot, not yet. Anyot can do much more brilliant things than what we're talking about here. All right, team. Let me give you a background. I'm not sure how many of you are aware that tomorrow we're doing this combined training between IT Learn and Xperitest. Xperitest is a Middle East-based company which is very popular and focused on mobile testing using various tools that they've launched. One of the new tools that they've launched is APM Studio. So it primarily takes APM, which is the Selenium equivalent to mobile test automation, and they built an amazing UI to it. So we've come up with a new webinar where we are co-hosting this along with us. And that's the APM webinar that we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's actually 2 sessions. There's one for Indian time, then one for the US time. So you're free to register. Now, why am I showing this to you? There is a problem. Look at the scenario. Okay. Xperitest does frequent webinar. Okay. So what do? They put a form or registration like IT Learn on the website, and that form collects the user information and puts it into GoToWebinar. Okay. IT Learn, we do exactly the same thing. We have a web page, we have a form with it, and we put it into our GoToWebinar. Now, they will be the host, and I am partnering. So they've requested or invited me to kind of launch their new product into the market and also get my audience into it. What is the problem? It is one webinar. It has to have one GoToWebinar link. So everyone needs to register here. It was not easy for me to take from my form into the GoToWebinar because I will not know how many people are registering from my side. So what do I do? This is the database, like an Excel. Whoever registers, I also get an Excel version of it. Same is here. So then what we did is I took a very early example of a sample. Are you all with me, team? There was this. Yeah, for example. Just a few. I'll not show all the details. I'll just hide some of this. The email for and deciding team. Just a few initial tests. I need to enter this information of the registrants who subscribe to us into Xperitest webinar link. How do we do that then? How could I do that? I need to register, do something right. So it took me exactly 15 minutes team to create this script. This script is primarily a simple Selenium. Look at what it does. Okay. It's a JUnit program. It's got an add before. I have a URL for US, the webinar registration URL. Let me quickly show you. Each of these have the field on it. Okay. And then there's the India registration webinar. Then I have a path to the Excel file in my system locally for both US and India. When I start, the first thing I do is I read that Excel into a two-dimensional array. I get each and every attribute for them from there into local variables. Then I go about executing this on the application where it enters. And if I get a successful message saying you registered, and I say registered, or it failed for, and I quit. That's it. Simple. Read Excel and cell to string and write Excel are just reusable components. Interesting, right? The intent is not to really show team what I've done at length, but sure, I will include the concept. Thank you, Aruna. This is much better, correct, everyone? All right. So see how interesting it is. Now, what is it that we will do, team? Quickly, and then we get started. The first thing we'll do is we'll learn to build a data-driven framework. Very important. Not because it is something I do. I've been doing this for the last 9 years, everyone. And it still will not continue to change. It's a great starting point. The second thing is we will learn to talk about a keyword-driven framework. Third, we will talk about a page object model or page factory. And believe me, there are variations in the industry about it. The fourth and final is we'll do a hybrid framework. Now, I'm not going to go through these basics. I'll start right from here. Okay. I'm going to take this notes. In fact, I'll start doing it directly in the Google. Anyone bored, team? The reason I ask is I'm not ashamed of it. It's to make sure I have the audience involved with me. That's the only thing. Anyone bored? Selenium Live Training, because it will get interesting. June 2017. Okay. Google Doc. Day 08 is what I'm going to say. Put the notes here. And also try and type here. It'll stay with us. Okay. Only 2 people are not bored. Looks like the other 80 are. All right. Okay. Now let's start with a data-driven framework. Let's start. Let's not wait for this. Is it okay if we take it the session for 10-15 minutes more today, everyone? If for any of you it's a little late, you can look at the video, please. This is how I'm going to name it. Data-driven framework project. So what is it that we start with to learn data-driven framework? There are 2 ways. I can tell you what it is, or we start with a project, with a need, and explain. It's like this. Let's say you've joined as an intern in a medical institution or a hospital. and then you know some basic. Then someone has come to check the blood pressure, a patient. You take the patient and then you sit with the senior doctor, look at what they're doing and understand the real fundamentals and keep learning. It's the same thing in any field, right? So there's a quick question, I'm going to answer it. Yes, there's a registration for Selenium Experience webinar. It's a free one. You all can register. I'm going to put it up here in the chat. I think you all should register because even if you don't plan to join, it'll give you the access. I put the link on the video team. Just join or go to itlearn.com and register. Do not forget because the video will not get sent publicly. Experience work a little different, not like IT. So we need to first find a problem or a need. All right. That will kind of become a project work for us. Now, there are various applications. For this, we need an app where a user gets to enter lot of data. I've been using a lot of application themes. Even today, I still like the mortgage calculator one. Calculator.org. This is the one. It's very simple to understand. It leaves the complexity of learning the application. It has enough fields and enough variations for us to learn core Java as well. Is it okay if we continue on this? Or you insist that we take something else? If yes, then recommend another application. I'll increase the font. Zoom as well. Twitter, let's see, I'm not logged into Twitter. I've never done Twitter thing. What do we test in Twitter? Okay, let's do this. Why don't we use Twitter? I believe it will help for keyword-driven framework. I promise we'll take Twitter. It looks more to be keyword-driven framework friendly. Belly is saying another application. Can you recommend this? I'm okay. The reason is it's easy. Amazon will give scope to do typical expert. Does not matter. Does not matter. Any application will. But from a data-driven perspective, I believe this or hotels.com. We can do hotels.com also because the fields in here. All right, team. We can come to these. Let's learn the basics because it's not about the application, believe me. It's about the basic programming, coding, WebDriver, and so on. All right. And then maybe we'll come to Twitter. I've not done that earlier. So it will kind of help us. So Bank of America is also, again, absolutely doable. It's just how deep can we go into it? Do they have something for mortgage loan calculator? Mortgage calculator. I can do this. Bank of America mortgage calculator, everyone. Is that fine? It's good to also change the app, right? It doesn't have all the fields, but it looks fine. Let's say it's $500,000 property. And down payment, let's say I'm going to do 400,000. Oh, sorry. Maybe about 150,000. It's not letting me type easily. 30%, which is good. Can I test this? Not necessarily. What happened to this? Okay, see. Oh, you can change it. So some of these features are a little tough, but we'll see if we can do anything about it. Property zip code, let's say 91367. And see payment. It's got me some results. Cool, this is good. Actually, let's do this, okay? Bank of America. I've not done this earlier. It'll keep us interested. All right. So now, to do this, the first thing is what? What is the process of building a data-driven framework? Let's go through it. So we're doing POA, mortgage, calculate. All right. So the steps to building a data-driven framework using Selenium-Webdriver. When I say this, it also includes Java and a lot of things with it. Okay. Selenium-Webdriver is the main concept. Increase the font size. I thought I did. I don't know why. Now it's good. Okay, steps. What is the first thing? Identify the application and a test. Second thing is understand and put the steps for the test case. Sorry, slash scenario. 3. Sorry. Create a basic Selenium WebDriver script for the test scenario. Identify the data slash variable. Create a set of test data. Read from an external source and put the data into the program. Run slash execute for all sets of test data. Finally, write the results back to an external source. When I'm saying external source team, I'm referring to a Excel file in this case. Okay. And we will talk about this as we keep going. Now what I'm going to do is in this same folder, I'm going to create a new Google Sheet and I'll call it as my DDF project 1. Okay. The first sheet, I'll name it as a plan, test plan, or you can also call it as an automation. Very briefly, I'm going to take all these points and put it here. Okay, step status. I will increase the font. Just wait for me, please. Is this good? So team, just to let you know, I'm not going to add anyone to this Google Drive. At the end of each project, I will share this. Okay. Now, I'm going to create a test case. And team, I do not share files in between the project. That is the way I do things. Why? I want you to look at how I'm doing and do it at your end. Not copy paste the code and what I've done and just execute. You have to write it. Because if I didn't believe in it, then I could have just showed you a script, a project, and finish data-driven framework in 1 hour. All right, sorry team, a little cough for me, so trying to pause between. All right team, what kind of columns should we add for a test case? What should we guide me? Maybe a test case ID, right? Name, step, does this look okay? Step number, and you have step description. Basic, very fundamental. Now, as a manual tester, what is it that we would like to do? Can you see both my screens team together or no? Sorry, I muted myself. So I'm just naming this case as this. Good name, bad name team. Bad. Okay, Siri. Okay. Anyone feels bad, can you advise me how we can improve? I wrote the application name, module name, and serial number. Someone said it's bad, and I would love to know how I can improve that further. Can you elaborate that? Column for test data. We will add it. We'll come to. I didn't deliberately edit it off. Okay. Now name. I'll just say this is the basic mortgage calculator test case. That's what I mean. Step 1, description. What is the first thing? Okay, so the attendee who said, I did not like the name first, after knowing why I wrote it that way, said, now it feels good. Thank you. Description, what is it? What is the first thing that we have to do? Tell me, team. Open the application under test slash, which is a browser, right? Now, what is expected actual? What will happen when we open the application, correct? And there's a result also. So this looks to be different category of things that we verify. So I'll give it a different background. Now, before this, I want to insert, let's say 3 more columns to the left and put some information. What kind of information is it that we can add? What is it that we want to achieve? That's very critical. The clarity on that is so important. Open the application and a test. Which application, which browser, what, correct? So there's some kind of a test data that is required. So for me, I will say in this, open it in Chrome. Right? Now, there's a problem here. You know what? I'll come to it. I'll just say open the browser. Let's split it into two. Open the browser. Navigate to the application under test. Okay. The reason I'm splitting a team is even the smallest of smallest actions that we perform, we want to make sure that we do it correctly. Navigate to the application. What is this? www.bankofamerica.com. See, team, how I'm trying to put everything in a very systematic, clear manner. So we know it is easy for us to relate and remember. The skill of documentation for an IT professional, especially a software test engineer, because they need to communicate a lot with a lot of other departments, is paramount. There is no question about it. Communication is just not written or oral or verbal or just written. It is also how you do documentation. So in this test plan, have we identified the application under test? Yes. Have we understood and put the steps for the test scenario? Did we do that? No, we're about 20%, maybe 15%. There's the status that we're filling in. Okay. So this is the URL. Third step is what? What did I do after coming here? I went under loan. Okay. Click on mortgage link under loan in the menu bar. Now, this is test data team. I'll come to it. I'll kind of explain it as we keep going. Which column does it come and so on. Fourth is once we click on that, then we go and click on estimate your monthly mortgage payment. Click on, oops, what did I do? This link, and then it's opening up a new browser. I do not want to actually talk about how we switch between windows, but that's okay. We'll kind of meet it there. Fifth one.
Sorry, something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
Oops. That's my Google Home talking. I don't know how what it heard. It started speaking. Sorry about that. Then we enter the purchase price. I think we'll continue later, team. After this, enter purchase price, enter down payment. What was this field? Oh, it automatically verify down payment. See, this is something we can verify. If I enter, let's say 600,000 here, it should automatically calculate and tell me how much is. That's a great test for us to learn. That's good. Enter zip code. So team, after I'm done with this, I'm ready to take questions, generic, specific, whatever you have, put in the chat or raise your hand. I will unmute you and you can speak it out. Click on see payment button. Verify the monthly payment. Maybe then close browser. This is what we need to do. I'm a little lazy in writing things. So if you have questions, team, kindly start putting them or raise your hand. If your hand is already up, then put it down if you know it. So team, we are in the process. This whole thing will take us about 3 days. 3 more sessions will complete our data-driven framework. And then we'll get to the other thing. What percentage of teams write test plans under Agile? I can't say percentage, but it's pretty popular these days. Most of them are doing it. And believe me, we are developing a lot of product team at my end. And we're going very strongly in the agile way for sure. We're also trying to incorporate the PDD methodology into it. What's the duration of advanced Selenium course? I believe we have about 10 sessions in total. You help us in the resume preparation. We guide you, yes. If you're part of JPAC, then we really help you out there. If not, yeah, we do guide you. We can show you some of the tools. In your experience in today's world, what percentage of teams write test plans under Agile? This was an interview question for me, sure. Okay, here's my answer. Here's how I would answer an interview question. I would say that in the last few projects, in the last 3-4 years, I've seen an exponential increase in how people are moving towards the agile methodology. Someone has asked me to repeat the question. I'm going to repeat it once again, team. In your experience, in today's world, what percentage of teams write test plans under agile? This was an interview question. Now, there's a trick in that question as well. It is, so like I said, exponentially increasing. Second, it could be an agile development with testing following it, or it could be an testing which is aggressively in the same agile methodology. I would say about 20 to 30%. That's it. Now, why 20 to 30%? I'll say that's my experience. Out of the project that I've seen, out of the community that I've worked with, out of my circles in the software testing, that's what I hear. Why is it not 50, 60%? Because we're getting there. Not everyone is going. And the question is your experience. That's what we are. Okay, looks like a lot of questions coming more towards agile. Let me take this also. So team, I'm patient to go through the questions. Sorry for those that have extended this a little bit further. Hopefully it adds value. But look at this question. In an agile world, is it possible to decide the kind of framework to be used as early as sprint? With a framework is a lab thing. It's a research thing. It is an isolated execution and building a concept, a solution for a known issue. It is like a company like Tesla, where they have done a lot of research and then they've come up with a product. So putting it into production immediately is tough. It takes time. So you can't start it with sprint one, because your sprints could be a weekly, 2-week cycle and so on, right? If you start it on day 0, a framework can take 2 or 3 months to be deployed. So it cannot definitely be implemented with sprint one. It will take time. You want to close door, create a lab environment, understand the requirement, build a framework, get the first initial users, and then get them comfortable, fix issues, challenges, improvements, then deploy. When will live project start and end? I don't know, Ruchita, but we're working consistently, constantly on live projects. There's always live projects through us. So you can write to Amulya or you can write to Sakib. They will guide you. Dates, please write to learn@itlearn.com. How do we know which framework to use for Selenium testing? Experience, that's it. You need to first understand the different types of framework, why is what used, and then create a model that is purely ROI based to be able to convince the management to adopt a specific framework. Again, guys, anything to do with dates which is not relevant to this session, please consult the team. Same for what is the mobile testing live project starting from. It's not what team, it is when. And believe me, I give a lot of importance to English in these sessions. So kindly put your questions correctly. It is your learning, it is your benefit, it is my duty to comment team. Can a slider used by BOA in the example here be automated by WebDriver? I'm not sure. I said this is interesting. Partially, yes, mouse movement and so on. Fully, I'm not sure. So we'll need to inspect. We will need to look at it and find out. Depending on some of this information, we can play around. All right. Okay, let me see if there's hands up, team. I want to see if anyone wants to speak. I have only 2 hands up. One is Rekha and Manju. I'm going to try and unmute you. Rekha, do you have a question for me? No. She's put a hand down. Manju, I'm unmuting you. Do you have a question for me?
Hi, Karthik. Are you able to hear me?
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, I'm basically a developer and an analyst. So what I want to know is, should I be learning more of the manual testing concepts like black box testing or, something like that? Will I require to learn?
If you're already a developer and an analyst, Manju, no, you do not.
Okay.
You can go straight to automation testing and Selenium. It's the most beneficial. Will it help? Of course, very little. But if you focus more on automation testing and what it can do, it's more beneficial. So the time should be wisely invested in mastering automation testing.
Okay. And I have one more question.
Sure.
It's like more than a question. I'm curious. I was watching your video. I'm in video 5 now of the free session. And I'm going through the element identification. So I'm just curious. So in a development environment where we develop a project, in this case, we are, trying to find out all the field names and, we are trying to do it. In a normal project environment, will that be given by the development team to the testing team, or we have to go and find it? I'm just curious.
Sure.
Say there is a page of
the
same thing that we did for Bank of America. So the testing team, will they be given about all the fields that are there in the page with the name, class, or whatever details?
All right, great question. So let me rephrase the question to the audience. There are situations when application is ready and available for us to go look at, inspect elements and find what has been programmed behind. And there are times when you're starting your automation build before the application is even deployed, even before the first version. At that time, you cannot do inspect of elements. What do we do at those stages? The first answer is the ground rule is the fact that we need to execute and do it. It is necessary, right? What is the option? What we do is we look at the technical design, not just the functional requirement, the technical design. And every field, every element, every link will be kind of mentioned in it with mock-up screen, with how the wireframe of the application. Wireframe is nothing but a mock-up screen of how the application is going to look, which is done by the UI UX design team. And then the development team will try and build the application workflow based on that. So while that is being done, we can take that technical document with certain information that's provided and start working on the automation. And when the application is ready, we can re-verify to ensure what we have done is correct and continue to do it. But how do we wisely use our resources and make sure we do it is important. Does that answer your question, Manju?
Yes, Karthik, thank you.
You're welcome. Rupa, you have a question for us?
Yeah, hi Karthik, this is Rupa. Actually, I have done the QA training and I'm ISTQB certified and CSM, the certified Scrum Master. I have done both the certifications, but I'm not from the programming background and I'm looking for openings now. So what will you recommend for me? I mean, which courses or which technologies I should learn? What are your recommendations?
Cool. All right. Sure. In this question group, I hear it like 10 times a day from my students. So the answer is very simple. It's great that you've got your certification in place that speaks about your fundamental concept and that fact that you have the basic knowledge on the software testing, and even being a certified Scrum Master is not a small thing. That's a great thing. Now, the driving force should be more as to what the market requires, and that is automation testing using Selenium. And I'm not sure how many of you guys see, but you can use a website like Indeed Job Trends. There's the job trends to kind of look at which is the most Indeed job. How is the demand for everything that you do? Let's say I want to talk about Selenium. You can check to see its trend in the market. How many jobs are being posted? It does show a small decrease in the last 1.5 years, but it's picking up again. And then how is the job seeker interest? How many people are interested to apply for jobs in this? And that's going pretty high. And you can compare it with, let's say, HP UFT and see how is HP UFT performing. So which is the market leader into it. You can also add things like APM and try and look at its trend. Where is it going? And this should be your driving force. This should give you exactly what you have to learn, Rupa. And you can try and focus on these aspects to fix your career. Now, since you're already certified, I would strongly recommend go for this training, Selenium training, advanced one, master that, get some NEOT expertise that you have available for free. That should do it.
Okay. Karthik, is only the Selenium is enough for us, or should we again learn, in addition to Selenium, we should learn UFT or load runner? So is there anything link between these tools, or just the Selenium is quite okay to get the job?
Sure. Let me answer that. UFT is linked in the sense they're all both trying to do the same thing. HP has come up with a new UFT lean product that is incorporating a lot of Selenium features and it's open source concept into it. So that's a great tool platform as well to learn, but it's not yet popular in the market. They're launching it. But then till then, it is Selenium. You don't need load runner because it's serving a totally different concept. As of today, functional testing is still the most in demand. It's got the most percentage of jobs compared to load runners. So I would recommend going for load runner. All right. Oh, sorry, why did I say load runner? It's still Selenium. Yep. And that's the reason if you look at neot.com that we've been working very hard to build. We've been doing this totally on Selenium because we do a lot of market research and then we get into identifying which is the direction for us as a company. There was also a question from Udaya, but Udaya, unfortunately, you seem to be dialed in from a phone. You need to enter your PIN number on the phone if I need to unmute you. I'll take a couple of more questions from the chat. In the meanwhile, Ron, might be a good idea to record the Bank of America MC using IDE and see how it handles those objects. Absolutely, Ron. Perfect answer. We're going to try that. Then export to WebDriver. Perfect. Absolutely. We'll try that and we'll try and see how it will work otherwise. We're supposed to have it in June itself. Had it been postponed, I was not. Sarpita, I'm not sure. Please do not ask me about scheduling questions. Reach out to the team. They will definitely give you an answer. How about protractor along with Selenium? Should we learn protractor? I don't know. There are too many things to learn. I believe if I learn Java, then learning C# or Python or Ruby on Rails is not a rocket science anymore. So learning one automation tool and then migrating to another based on the need is not such a big challenge. Remember the API testing, will it come under Selenium testing or separate one? To a certain level, you can do API testing using Selenium, not the complete stack of it. As long as it is all web related, very minimal web services, yes, but not too much web services. The Selenium is for web pages or can be used for mobile apps. So Manju, when it comes to mobile apps, then you're looking at going towards APM built on Selenium. All right, looks like I've answered most of the questions. If there is further questions, let me know, or we good, and we'll meet day after at 6:30 p.m. Pacific and continue where we left off. But team, please do register for this webinar because it'll be tough for us to share the video because it'll be done from the experience side. All right, everyone, I'm assuming that's it for today then. We'll see you back on the next session and take it forward from there. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a great week ahead. See you soon. Bye, all of you. Thank you.